Hello, everyone. We have a lot of interesting stuff to talk about, whether you're in the state of California or not. One of the big things that we're going to be talking about today is the state of California's potential CCW ban, the Bruin response bill, as many people are calling it. We're going to be talking about how that was voted on recently in the California Senate, and only one Democrat actually opposed it, noting that it would personally affect her. We're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking about Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, how they're both currently falling on opposite sides of the spectrum when it comes to gun ownership and drug use, and their opinions on whether or not someone that uses illegal drugs, federally illegal drugs, should be allowed to own a firearm. Then we're going to be talking about how one guy in the Third Circuit got his gun rights back. I know, kind of, the rights don't go away. I know people get upset when I say that, but his rights are now being acknowledged, even though he committed the heinous crime of lying about his income so he could get food stamps back in 1995. I know, terrible guy, should not be allowed to own guns. Get him off the streets, right? We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff today. Stay tuned if you want to know more. If you want to support the channel, links in the description, that kind of thing. If you want to support the channel non-monetarily, send this video to your mom. Now, the first thing that I wanted to talk about was Senator Marie Alvarado Gill in the state of California. This covers the Modesto Oakdale region. If you're asking why I say Oakdale, it's because that's where my wife is from. Apparently, Oakdale is the cowboy capital of the world. It's what they say. I don't believe it. It's just what they say. Now, she talked about how SB2 was voted on 29-9 in the Senate of the state of California. Alvarado Gill was the only Democrat to oppose it. She went on record to say California has the most restrictive gun laws in the country, and now this bill aims to restrict my own rights under the Second Amendment. I want to be very clear on something. I looked into her voting record. Maybe I was just missing it, but where I was looking, it didn't seem as if she has voted yes on gun control in her career. So that's good. That's a good sign. Her area that she represents is, how would I put this? Very gun friendly. If you live in that area, you probably know what I mean by that. The reason that she is voting on this personally as a no is because this bill would restrict someone from possessing a firearm in areas that are of the legislature's home or owned by the legislature, which it would basically mean that she personally or her family members or anyone in her, life would not be able to possess a firearm on their property because it is personally affecting, and she does say, her own rights under the Second Amendment. I actually like the way she worded that because it seems to be as if she is acknowledging that the right exists and that the Second Amendment is what covers it, not that the Second Amendment grants it. Now, I'm very interested to see how this plays out with SB2, the CCW ban, because basically you would not be able to carry anywhere. And even if a business wanted to allow you and it was legal for you to have a firearm in their business, they would have to post signs saying that gun owners are allowed, which we have been referring to as the vampire clause. You have to be invited in, basically. SB2 is currently being opposed by PORAC and many other sheriff's unions in the state, which is great to see. If law enforcement as a whole is opposing a bill that would ban concealed carry, you gotta start to think, maybe the bill sucks. So, big ups to Marie Alvarado Gill, even though she is making it clear that it's because it personally affects her. I do believe that this person is not necessarily anti-gun based on the voting record that I could see, and specifically going off the single blurb of her own rights under the Second Amendment as opposed to, I don't know, just saying that she wants to be able to have security guards. There's different ways that she could have said this, and I think that the way that she said it seemed to acknowledge the right exists and that the Second Amendment protects that right that already exists. So you do kind of like to see it. Now, Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, two sides of the same coin, Inside of you, there are two wolves. One is Joe and one is Hunter. Both of them like to be inappropriate with little kids. So Joe Biden, his policies when it comes to weed and gun ownership, They have currently held strong that people that smoke weed or are unlawful users of a controlled substance, because that's what you are, even if it's legal in your state, federally, weed is still an evil, evil no-no drug. Do not do it. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Biden is holding firm that if you are a marijuana smoker, that they will continue to defend the ability of the state and the federal government to restrict your rights. You have no right to bear arms if you smoke weed. That's what their opinion is, that's what they are holding to, and that's what they are defending in the courts. Now, interestingly, Hunter Biden's lawyers actually said that if the DOJ does decide to press charges in any way about illegal gun purchases because he was an unlawful user of a variety of drugs, sounds like quite the fun guy other than the fact that he likes little kids, this guy is now saying, or his lawyers are saying on his behalf, that they will try to challenge the laws banning drug users from owning firearms. I think the guy's a piece of shit. But if this guy is the one, if Hunter Biden gets rid of the ban on firearms ownership by people that smoke weed, I did not have that in my bingo card, I will tell you what. So it's very interesting to see both sides of this family arguing in different directions. I'm not sure that anything is going to go anywhere. People of power are never held accountable, so it's just, this is kind of a nothing burger. I'm sorry for talking about it. The last thing that I wanted to talk about was about how Brian David Range in the Third Circuit seems to have a win in his lawsuit. Brian committed the heinous offense of underreporting his income so that he could get food stamps back in '95. Bad person. Want him off the streets. Do not want this guy to be able to protect himself with a firearm. Now, I believe that this wasn't a felony, but in his state, because the maximum sentence that he could have received for this heinous crime of trying to feed his family was over a certain amount, that it considered it a prohibitory offense, meaning that he would not be able to own firearms. Now, I'm going to read to you a little bit of an excerpt. I'm going to kind of summarize what this is saying, because this is only going to be affecting him as it applies to this prohibition, but it could potentially be a bigger deal down the road if these sorts of arguments and cases are won. It seems like people are going to have to use this in their own individual case on a case-by-case basis, which is unfortunate. It's not going to be some massive Bruin level victory, but we're seeing a lot of victories at every level across the nation, so it is good to talk about. Now, this decision is a narrow one. Brian Range challenged the constitutionality of 18 U.S.C. 922G1 only as applied to him given in his violation. Range remains one of the people protected by the Second Amendment, and his eligibility to lawfully purchase a rifle and a shotgun is protected by his right to keep and bear arms. Because the government has not shown that our republic has a long-standing history and tradition of depriving people like Range of their firearms, 922G1 cannot constitutionally strip him of his Second Amendment rights. Very interesting. It's great to see another perfect example of how Bruin is impacting people, because this guy is now able to protect himself with rifles and shotguns in this instance in a way that he would not before, because this case would never have been a victory if it wasn't for Bruin. These cases are having actual impact and movement in ways that are a lot harder to defend. Ultimately, I think that it's very clear that the evil states that want to ban guns are going to figure out a game to play as they did before, but the game is a lot harder for them. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals is going to have a lot tougher time when it comes to all these court cases that Benitez is hopefully going to rule on soon. I don't know when he's going to do that. Everyone kind of thought it was going to be late February. Who knows? It's June. Don't hold your breath when it comes to these kind of things. Let me know what you guys think down below. You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace.